So what is this message of the cross? What is this message? What is the word of the cross? What is the gospel? And you might find it hard to believe, but this was the hardest part of my sermon to think about, to come up with, because there was so many scriptures coming to mind. I had a hard time weeding them out. You should see my other notebook. It's just like 2 pages, just so many scriptures on it. I don't know if I could fit anything else on it. And I had to go through. I'm like, I can't use all these references when I say, what is the gospel? I got to narrow it down. So I narrowed it down to tons and tons and tons to 7. I think 7's a good number. What is the message of the cross? In Hebrews 2:14 and 15, we see that the message of the cross is that Satan himself is defeated. The great enemy of God is defeated on the cross. And the people of God are delivered from the domain of darkness. Hebrews 2:14 and 15, it says, since then the children share in flesh and blood. He himself, that's Christ, he himself likewise also partook of the same, that through death, through the cross, he might render powerless, he might defeat, he might render powerless him who had the power of death, that is the devil. Through the cross, Christ rendered the devil powerless. Verse 15, and he might deliver those, is the people of God, those who believe. He might deliver those who through fear of death were subject to slavery all their lives. Slavery? What kind of slavery? Slavery to the domain of darkness, the authority of darkness. That's in Colossians 1:13. He delivered us. Christ delivered us from the domain of darkness and transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins. The redemption, the forgiveness of sins. Satan is defeated. We're delivered from the domain of darkness. We're transferred into the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption. He's purchased us. We have the forgiveness of sins. Isaiah 53, what is the message of the cross? What is the gospel? Isaiah 53, verses 5 and 6. We see that our sins were placed on Christ. It says this, but he, Christ, this was written 700 years before Christ walked on the earth. He, Christ, was pierced through for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The chastening for our well-being fell upon him. And by his scourging, by his stripes, we are healed. All of us, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned his own way. But the Lord, here's the gospel, but the Lord has caused the iniquity of us all to fall on him. When you hear that, do you hear the power of God? Do you hear the wisdom of God? Do you hear the love of God? The Lord has caused the iniquity of us all to fall on him. Not only have our sins been placed on Christ, but Christ's righteousness has been imputed to us. 2 Corinthians 5:21 says, he, God the Father, made him, Christ. He made him. God the Father made Christ, who knew no sin. He was holy, he was sinless. He knew no sin. God made him to be sin on our behalf. Get this, that we might become the righteousness of God in him. through the power of the cross. Because he became sin by his grace, through faith, we become the righteousness of God in him. If that's not good news, I don't know what is, folks.